let's see. That's that place. We can go over here. Oh, I can't go to that port town? That's not good, because they sold items here that I wanted. I guess I should progress as far as I can before putting the shackles on. The music was going places. Sure glad we focused fired the same target. Come on. $900. Alright, here's 5 enemies. Cause damage to everybody. What a sucker. Get that sucker. Oh man, I went to the taco place yesterday, and I get in line. I pay for my food, and then I go over to the there's like an area where you can get your salsa and whatnot. and I get the first part of my long journey down the salsa line. And then they hand me my food. And I'm like, what the heck? They have never handed me my food that quickly before. So I had to go down like the entire escapade basically with my food, because never happened before. And yeah. Sometimes you just be getting that food with the quickness. I was in and out of that taco place in like 5 minutes. It was crazy. Maybe I should be saying that I'm using turbo, just in case there's the off chance that I actually do an encounter report for this game. I did look at YouTube just to see how many other people are playing Lunar Dragon Song, and I saw one person. I didn't look like. I didn't go FBI on it or anything like that. But, I did a cursory inspection and I saw one person. So, we have another Black Sigil on our hands. This game is not as good as Black Sigil. Blade of the Exile. You're not sure if you started doing highlights or YouTube uploads during that time? When did you start doing highlights / YouTube uploads, Mr. JRPG? Like this around 2019, did YouTube VODs for a while until you eventually decided it was a hassle and exclusively did highlights. You say it's a hassle. I can't tell someone else what isn't a hassle, what's not a hassle. But from my point of view, you say it's a hassle. But doing YouTube VODs is really easy. Just throwing that out there, all right? I feel like a lot of people just don't know the tech. You link your YouTube channel with your Twitch channel, and then after you make the highlight, you press like the 3 buttons or whatever next to the highlight you created. And then you choose export to YouTube. And then it automatically sends that video to YouTube. And then, whenever you get a chance, you go over to YouTube and you publish that export. It's a very, 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 very simple process. It does not take a lot of time. Holy bracelet. What is your current defense? Holy cow. Let me equip that right now. The occasions where you had days with bad connections and needing to put the videos together. Oh yeah, well, if you do drop frames, that is going to show up on the Twitch side, and then it will, you know, because you're making a highlight of the thing, it'll export to YouTube. But you know, we're all gonna have some drop frames, whether it be thousands or hundreds of thousands. And when you did exports, noticed eventually the YouTube videos go out of sync, probably with your settings. So I can't necessarily speak to exports going out of sync because I haven't had that problem, but I have had the problem of way back in the day using the YouTube editor to edit the VODs directly. So many of my videos that I did that, you know, in like 2018, 2017, a lot of those videos turned out to be out of sync, so I had to download them and re-upload them. Huge pain in the butt. Huge. Doing basic video editor, but eventually slacked on that. Well, I can definitely say, Mr. JRPG, that I'll put it this way. It's because of how little effort is involved in the process. I think it's a good way to explain this. Because of how little effort it is in the process, I think having the videos on YouTube is better than not having the videos on YouTube. But, you know, everyone tracks the effort differently, and everyone, you know, everyone's not what's the right way to put it? Not everyone has as much free time as I do. So I might be, I don't want to say overselling it, but I might be discounting, you know, how much effort it goes into, because I mean, I don't use the export anymore, so there is a possibility that there is an issue with it, but I did use it for a very long time. And when I did use it, it was an extremely simple process, and it just made uploading videos that much easier. The only reason that I don't use the export feature anymore, or the only reasons, is sometimes I do drop frames, and you know, I don't want to do that. But I also record the stream. So that guarantees that I won't get any drop frames because I have a recording. But I also have multiple audio tracks. So I have an audio track for the game and myself as one audio track. I have an audio track for myself, like my voice. And then I have an audio track for just the game. So this allows me to make edits, basically, to my recording. If my voice is too loud, or if the game is too quiet, I can make those adjustments and then put them on YouTube. Also, ooh, you can get on a fight in a ladder. I have a feeling this is going to end up very badly. Also, I stream at 720p, but my local recording is at 1080p. So YouTube gets the 1080p and, you know, the stream gets 720. I mostly did this, well, one, because it's a pretty common thing out there for 720p at 6,000 bit rate or more to actually look really good. And, you know, bumping 720 to 1080 with the same amount of bit rate, it's going to look worse. Oh my gosh, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. So there's not much point in, you know, bumping up the resolution if you can't bump up the bit rate. One of the enemies broke the gauntlets on Gabrielle. Like a sucker. I don't think I've seen anything else break except for gauntlets. So maybe if I just never buy gauntlets, I'll be fine. I was about to say, yo, is this guy gonna die? I feel like we've been attacking him for 10,000 years. What was I saying? So yeah, so that's the reason I stream at 720p. I'm pressing this. I need an Athena statue. Of course there's a monster chest. I need an Athena statue. You know what? Gabrielle's at 5 HP. Oh my gosh, where did those guys come from? I'm gonna leave this place. I'm gonna go heal, and we're gonna get that monster chest. Did I mark? I did not mark. I'll find a spot to mark, I guess. Fade to black or something. But yeah, anyways, long story short, I've found that uploading, like if you have the capabilities, uploading recordings is the way to go. But it is time consuming. One of these days, I've kind of always wanted to do this. One of these days, I will show the process that I go through of, you know, like what I do after the stream. It doesn't take as long. Like, it probably takes me about 30 minutes. To 30 minutes or less, unless I need to make, you know, more adjustments and things like that. But because I supplement things with marking, like on Twitch, it's super easy for me to just go to the time that I marked, then go to the time in the VOD and find out where it's a decent spot to you know, make the cut, and then I'm, you know, move on to the next little section. One of these days I'll do that. It's been something that's been on my mind for a very long time. Ron ain't no slacker. See, that's where you're wrong. I am a huge slacker. Like, for example, I'm supposed to be working on an encounter report. And, you know, I might just not do that encounter report, or I might push it back. You know, I don't know. I'm just not really feeling like doing that encounter report. Unfortunately, I don't know if going back to it at a later date would be a good idea, because I have tried that with a previous encounter report that I have now finished, and it is not as it didn't come out the way that it probably should have. It feels very hands off because I forgot basically everything that makes those interactions in fights important, and so like I stay away from the detail. I don't know if I want another one of those, but at the same time, you know, who knows. So right now I'm taking a break from encounter report stuff, and that is my equivalent of slacking. Also, I need to clean my room. Not gonna clean my room. You know, I'm a super slacker. Tech 9 has a song called Slacker out there. Well, no, not out there. I've got to represent for Tech 9. Ain't nobody else represent for Tech 9. Just throwing that out there too. Why is it always poison when they die? I'm pretty sure I went on to your YouTube once, Mr. JRPG, and was looking for something very specific, and I couldn't find it. And I think that's when I learned that you had stopped porting things over to YouTube, which is totally fine. You know, if you want to do highlights on Twitch, you know, I think Twitch is a better watching experience. Or when I have to fast forward at times 2 speed. YouTube has been giving me a lot of problems. The good thing about YouTube though is that they always have the thumbnail preview. And so sometimes I can scan the thumbnail to find out the next point that I can skip to without having to manually do it 5 or 10 seconds at a time. I would say a good chunk of the time Twitch has the thumbnail, but not all the time. And it's also not very useful on streams that are, you know, like 6 hours long. So. You did it purely for archival purposes, not thinking much on people catching them. So since you figured you can do highlights and it keeps the sessions, you focused on that. Fair. I did kind of the opposite. I was doing highlights and porting them over to YouTube, and eventually I stopped making highlights and just exclusively put the videos on YouTube. A little bit earlier this year, I decided that I would start making highlights again, because once again, the process is so easy. It takes so little time for me, and I'm already in the editor when I'm cutting up the recording, so it just makes a lot of sense for me to just make highlights. There's no reason for me not to make highlights. So, I believe White Knight Chronicles was the first game this year where I started doing highlights again, but there's a lot of games in between. I think I stopped doing highlights on Twitch for after Mass Effect 2? And it was shortly after that Grayson uncovered that you can only have 100 collections on Twitch, which I was at, I think, 99 or 98. So that also kind of hurt highlights. But the more that I mess around with this encounter report, the more I think it's helpful to have this stuff in multiple locations. Like for example, I recently watched my Tales of Symphonia playthrough, and there were portions that I cut out of the YouTube side that I left in on the Twitch side. And I think, you know, that's a neat thing for me. I don't necessarily do that anymore, but there can be times where I'll make like special edits, like for example, White Knight Chronicles. For the final boss, I cut those up because I died so many times. I cut those up so that it flowed a little bit better, but it wasn't always like my first attempt, if that makes any sense. So it was a different thing, but or like for example Black Sigil, when I played that game on the YouTube side, I cut out all the like 99% of the random encounters, and on the Twitch side I left all the random encounters in. I need a mark.